Hi guys, so today is a very sunny day outside, so it really makes me want to play with colors, and I've been super inspired lately by all the swatching videos that I've seen so far on YouTube. I don't know why, but I've seen so many swatching videos lately on YouTube, so I don't know if it's spring or what, but everybody started swatching, so I kind of want to do some of my own swatching today. And I don't know if you've seen one of my latest videos. I swatched all of my watercolors in my swatch book right here. And I talked about owning some colors that I never really use. And that's such a shame because I don't really like wasting. I decided it would be a good idea to try to mix them so I get to know them better. And maybe I'm gonna discover some mixes that I'm going to love. Well, at least that's my goal for today. So I selected 9 colors that I don't really use much. They're right here. And you might notice that for the most part, they are very bright colors. This is not my palette at all. Usually I prefer using muted colors. When a color is too saturated, I mix it a little bit with its opposite on the color wheel to dull it a little bit, to neutralize it. I am left with these colors, which I don't use much. So as I was saying, some of them are super bright and 2 of them are metallics, which I also don't tend to use that much. But that's sad. Maybe I can do something about it. So that's what we're going to try today. We are going to try mixing 9 colors that I wouldn't say that I hate. No, I only hate one. I only hate... oh no, that's Payne's Gray. I love it. I wanted to... I'm sorry, Payne's Gray. I love you so much. I'm so sorry. I wanted to use graphite. I hate graphite. I love Payne's Gray. So let me just rectify this situation. I'm so sorry, Payne's Gray. Here it is. I think that graphite was hiding. It felt... see, they're similar on the tube. They look very similar. This one has a bit more texture on the tube, but you could mistake them easily if you don't pay attention, which I did. So let's put Payne's Gray on the side. Let's put graphite back in its place. So yeah, here are the 9 colors that I don't use much, that I would love to find a way to use. And that's what we're gonna try today. So today I have 2 different mixing charts that I wanna work with. This first one here is a square, a 2x1 mixing chart. I explained it in my ultimate swatch book video, which I will link right here. So this one is a 2x1 mixing chart. So the colors in the column will be mixed using 2 parts of that color with 1 part of the color in the row. It might seem complicated right now. I find it hard to explain, but essentially working that way prevents me from having the same mix on either side of the chart. I'm gonna stop explaining right now. We'll just do it and I'll explain while I do it. I think it's gonna be easier to understand. And on this other side, I've drawn some circles, 3 circles. I'm going to select a couple of mixes that I'm going to explore a bit more on this page. I think I should have put this chart on this page and these circles on this page because I'm gonna start with this, so it would make more sense in my swatch book to have it reversed, but oh well. What's done is done. Also, this paper is a mixed media paper, so it's obviously not the best to work with watercolors, but it's good enough. So if I wanted to really pay attention to the granulation or to be really particular with analyzing the characteristics of my watercolors, then it would be better to swatch on a watercolor paper. But I'm just exploring, I'm just having fun, I'm just chilling. So this paper is good enough for that. So what I'll do is I think I'm gonna write down the names of the colors on the side. And then we're just gonna put our colors in the center. And then I think it's gonna be easier to understand. So let's start with that. I'm gonna put Payne's Gray away because I'm scared I mistake it again for graphite, which would be tragic. This one will be Van Gogh Permanent Lemon Yellow. Same here. This one, Van Gogh Permanent Orange. Van Gogh Cobalt Blue, which is a color that I would really love to play around more because I really like this color. In fact, I don't hate it at all. So I think it's just that I don't know it very much, so I don't go towards it too much. I used to when I painted landscapes more, but I kind of am focusing on a different style nowadays, so I don't reach for that one as much. But I feel like if I knew it better, if I mixed it with other colors, I would reach for it, I would use it more. So it's easy to understand that permanent yellow will mix with permanent yellow, permanent orange will mix with permanent orange, copper will mix with copper at some point, quin rose with quin rose. So all this middle diagonal here is going to be these colors fully without any mixing. And the reason I want to do a 2:1 ratio is that, let's say quinacridone rose will mix with copper right here. Well, I will find that same mix here, copper with quinacridone rose. So these two would be the same mix, but I just want to have a different ratio. So for this one, I'm going to put twice as much copper as quinacridone rose, but for this one, I'm going to put twice as much quinacridone rose as copper. So I'm going to have a mix of the same two colors, but in different ratios, which will be more interesting and more useful than to repeat the same mixes. I'm going to start by filling this middle section right here, and then we will start working with ratios. So this first one right here is permanent yellow. To me, it looks like it's pretty opaque. It's almost like a pastel yellow. It's not really pastel, but I feel like there's some white in it or something. Maybe. No, I don't think so. I don't know, maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just the angle at which I look at it. The window is in front of me, so there's a bit of reflection. So let's do permanent orange. I have to say that this color, well, first of all, I'm not a fan of orange. I have never been. So I think I bought it because I thought I should have at least one orange. But yeah, I don't really care about it. That's the thing. That's the problem. I want to care more about it. That's why I'm doing this exercise. Let's just do a little dot here. Et voila. Now we have the copper, which I don't hate. I just don't really like the shimmery effect of metallics, I think. Give me the same color without the shimmer and I'm going to use it every day. Its only problem for me is the shimmery aspect. But other than that, I love the color. Now we have quinacridone rose. When I look at that color, I find it beautiful. It's just, I'm not drawn to pinks. That's the thing. I think objectively, it's a nice color. Maybe if I could find a way to work with it. I would use it more because, yeah, it's pretty cute. It's vibrant. It's nice. I don't like to say that some colors are feminine and others are not because feminism, but I think maybe I associated this color with a feminine color, and I've not always rebelled against that, I don't think, but I've always been more drawn to neutral shades. So I was never a really girly, well, in some aspects, yes, but in like clothing or stuff like that, I've never been super girly. Even to this day, I really like dressing in like a boyish way a bit. So yeah, I've never been drawn to pink, that's what I mean. And we have not talked about quinacridone purple blue at all, which also, it's kind of like the purple. It's pretty. I never use it. I need to tweak it, I think. Cobalt blue, yes, this is going to be pretty. It looks really bright just when I put it in the pan. So I think that's a good sign. Okay, let's swatch it. Yeah, it's pretty. Imagine what I'll be able to do with it once I know how to tweak it. Now we're gonna have cerulean blue phthalo, which I think is also gonna be pretty. It's just, I think, not a color that I'm drawn to. I'm not drawn towards pastels also, which I don't think this one is super pastel, but it's not pastel. I don't know why I say that. It's just paler. It looks like baby blue. Maybe that's why I'm not drawn to it. Now, permanent green. I think this is also a color that I'm going to love, I think, because I love green. It's just that I have a lot of greens and this one is not one I reach for that much compared to the others. So I would love to find a way to tweak it and get it to a point where I reach for it more. It's more vibrant too, which I already explained is not my kind of color. And last but not least, but almost, is graphite, which, oh my god, what a horrible color. It's like boredom in a color. I'm sure some people love it, but if I could represent boredom in a single color, it would be graphite. What would be your most boring color? I would love to know if it's graphite for you too, or if there's another color that bores you to death. Please tell me in the comments. Maybe if it wasn't so shimmery, maybe... I think it's the same thing with copper. It could be okay, although it's not a very interesting gray. But if it wasn't shimmery, it wouldn't be as bad, I think. But now it's shimmery, so like there's nothing I can do. Well, so far, but maybe after this, I'll discover some ways to cope with it. Okay, so I think now what I'm gonna do is work in columns. So I'm going to put, let's say I'm gonna work on the yellow column, this first one. I'm going to mix it with the orange, with the copper, with the pink, etc. I'm always going to put twice as much yellow as the other color. And we'll see what we get. I think we'll get some interesting mixes, yeah. I'm first putting some yellow in different places in my palette, and then I'm gonna add a color in that mix. So I'm making sure that my brush is clean and that I put enough yellow in there. Okay, so now let's add a touch of orange. And we're gonna paint this square. Yeah, this is an okay color. Maybe I could add just a bit more orange to it. Just like... so we get a bigger contribution from the orange in this color. That's cute, that's cute. I'm interested to see what the copper is gonna look like. Now, before I go forward, what I'm thinking is I'm going to move this to the side a little bit and put my palette here so you can see my mixing a little bit more. Now let's add a bit of copper to this mix right here. I think that's enough. And paint this square. So this column should still pretty much always stay on the yellow side. Of course, when I'm gonna mix it with blues and like stronger colors, we might get more of like greens and stuff like that, but I have to be careful to keep the yellow proportion bigger than the other color. So this mix with the copper, it makes me think of a yellow ochre, which is a good sign. Very good sign. Now let's mix it a little bit with the pink. I think this is an interesting color. Okay, let's swatch this. Yeah, this is interesting. So far, I think my favorite is the one with the copper in it. So I'm very glad about this. Just re-wetting my paint because this is the next day. And so far, I have to say I really like this one. It feels like it granulated a little bit. So I'm very glad. Now we're gonna mix some Van Gogh quinacridone purple blue into our yellow. Just gonna put a little bit. Ooh, that's a weird color, but there's something interesting in it. But as I said before, I really like these muddy colors. Now we're gonna start getting some greens with the blue. So let's mix the cobalt blue. I'm just putting a small amount of blue in my yellow. It's a cute color. It's like lime color. Yeah, like a lime color. It's very cute. I like it. And now let's see what the difference will be when I add the cerulean blue, because it's a different kind of blue. And it's going to be interesting to have these two mixes. Yeah, so it's kind of a lime color as well, but more vibrant. And I think this is due to the fact that the cobalt blue is warmer than the cerulean blue. We can see that it has more red in it. And we're mixing it with a cool yellow. So I think cool with cool makes a vibrant color, and cool with warm makes a muddy color. Correct me if I'm wrong though, but this is what I've read. Now we're gonna add some green into our yellow. Ooh, I like the range of color that we're getting. Even more vibrant. This is a cool green, and we get kind of a progression. Interesting. Oh, and then the graphite. That I have no idea what's gonna happen with this. I'm kind of excited to mix this color. Okay, it's kind of a brownish yellow. But it's good to know what mixes I can create with all of these colors that I don't use much. Yeah, good to know. So I think now I'm gonna go clean this up, at least this part, and we're gonna proceed with the orange. We'll do the same thing. I'm gonna put a little bit of orange in 9 spots. 8 in fact, because one is already done. We're gonna create our mixes, but always putting a bit less of the second color. So I'm gonna put just a little bit of yellow in there. You'll see what I mean by like why I wanted to do this kind of mixing. So I don't create the same mix twice. So you see that here and here, technically we mix the same, oops, I touched it. Technically here and here we mix the same colors, but I put more orange in this mix and I put more yellow in this mix. So it's gonna allow us to get a bigger range of possibilities when it comes to mixing. Now we're gonna mix with the copper. Gonna put less copper than orange. My feeling is that we're gonna get some weird colors because, well, it might just be a personal opinion because I'm not a fan of orange. Yeah. So, and we're gonna mix orange with some greens, which will create some browns. I think maybe it can be interesting. It has potential. So let's just wait and see. Now we're gonna add some quinacridone rose in our mix. I quite like this color, I think. Could add just a touch more. No, this is interesting. Now the purple. Let's see what we get with the mix of purple in our orange. We kind of muddy our color. Yeah. Let me just put more. It's a very strange color. I cannot say that I like it. Now, cobalt blue. Yeah, that one is, I think it's ugly too. Not a great mix, in my opinion. Yep. And let's see the difference with the cerulean blue. Maybe we'll get something different because of the difference in warmth. Yes, this one is a bit more green. Maybe I put too much blue in that mix. I don't know. I like this green more so far. I think it's, well, I like this mix too. It looks like a tangerine orange, which I like. And this one too, because I like my muddy colors. So this one too is interesting, I think. It's this green is less vibrant when I mix it with orange, which is good. That's something that I like. I'm trying to leave a gap between all the colors so that they don't touch and they don't bleed into each other. which would be very sad. And the graphite, what will happen? Yeah, not too pretty, I have to say. Quite boring. But weirdly, when I look at it now, I quite like this mix with the graphite and the yellow. It's kind of an olive, a little bit. I'm gonna try to put more color, more pigment in my next mixes. Yeah, I have to say that I'm not the biggest fan of these mixes with the orange, but I still created some interesting colors. So I guess that's fine. My favorite is definitely this one. These two greens are interesting as well. It's fun to know what we can create with our colors. So far I love this exercise. Let's just clean this up a little bit. And we're gonna start working with our copper, which I think is going to be super interesting. I can't wait to see our mixes. Okay, so I changed strategies a little bit with my plates. So in this plate, I'm going to put the mix of color. So I put 8 dots of my copper. And in this one, I'm going to use this side to add a little bit of each color to create the mixes. So hopefully this side will stay clean. I'm not gonna use this. But I decided to do that because every time I went to wash this part, I kind of washed away some of these colors too, and I created some waste. I don't want to do that, so I'm going to only wash this plate every time and hopefully keep the waste to a minimum. So we're gonna add some yellow in this mix, and I think that our mixes will be a bit more pigmented. Okay, so now the same mix that we did before, but with more copper compared to the yellow. So technically for these two, this one and this one, we mix the same colors, but in this one I have a higher ratio of copper compared to the yellow. And in this one, it's the opposite, more yellow than copper. All right, interesting. Now we're gonna add some orange in our copper. Well, it's not surprising. It still looks like copper, but a more orangey copper. We'll see how it looks when it's dry though. Now we're gonna add some quinacridone rose to our copper. Yep. So it still looks like the copper we had before, but maybe with a slightly more pinkish hue. Maybe I'm gonna add just a tiny bit more of pink. Yeah, that's gonna be it. Now let's add the purple in this mix. That has potential, I think. I think it's gonna be a pretty color. So I think that with the copper, when I mix it with other colors, I can get something very pretty. I like this mix with the purple. I also like the mix with the pink. I think the mix with the blue will be interesting as well. Oh, I think I need to put more. I almost don't see the blue. It kind of disappeared in the copper. Maybe I didn't put enough. Yeah, I like this mix too. It's very cute. I think this is gonna be a good discovery. Now we're gonna mix the other blue in here. So interesting how the blue kind of disappears in the copper, but it changes the copper color like completely. So these two mixes kind of look alike, although we can see that this one tends more towards a purple than this one. This one is a bit more brown, a bit more muddy. Now we're gonna add the green, and that's gonna be interesting as well. I think we're gonna create kind of a brown. This one too, it disappears in the copper. So interesting. Oh, I think we just created a super weird color. And now copper and graphite. What's gonna happen? It's kind of like a darker copper, which is interesting as well. Interesting, I really like this column. Look at how pretty these colors are though. I really like this one with the quinacridone rose. And I like the color separation that we can see in the plate. I wonder if we'll see it in here. I can see it in some colors, but when it's dry, we will really see the full effect. These are not even dried yet, and they already look amazing. So I think I might have discovered something very interesting for my future paintings. Now we're gonna work with quinacridone rose. I'm gonna put 8 little dots here, and now we're gonna mix some yellow. It already looks like a pretty color. Beautiful. So this one and this mix are made with the same colors again, but with more pink and with more yellow. Very interesting. Now let's put some orange in the mix. What an interesting and useful exercise. For real, I think it's gonna help me so much. I already see these colors that I never had an interest for in such a different light. So I think it's going to be so useful for my future paintings. Now let's add some copper in there. These two touched right there, so they're gonna merge a little bit, but I hope it's not gonna be too intense. Now with the purple, I think we're gonna get a super pretty color. Yeah. Now we're gonna add some cobalt blue. Oh yeah, that's pretty. So I think, according to what I've read, since this pink and this blue that I'm mixing right now are cool colors, we should get a more vibrant color than when I'm gonna mix it with this blue. We'll see if that's true though, because I don't know. But I like this purple. It's very pretty. Oh, I don't know. It's very different. I like it too. Oh my God. I don't know which one's more vibrant. So tough to say because they're so different. I have no idea. I don't know. Oh, and with the green now, I think this is going to be a weird mix. Like some kind of a brown. Oh no, I love this color. With just a little bit of green, it kind of mutes it down. It mutes the pink down to create a color that I really love. Like I told so many times, I love my muted colors, and I think that this one is so pretty. You just need like a tiny touch of green though. You don't need much. Wow. Let's see what happens with the graphite. This one is always like, I never know what to expect. I always expect it to be ugly, but I'm surprised sometimes. Like right now, it's not that ugly. It looks like this one a bit, which is weird. Yeah, I'm not mad about this one. Here we can see a color separation. We can see like a contour of graphite, which I don't really like. But in these two, we don't really see it. I don't think we're gonna see it with this one. We'll see. But what a beautiful row. Then again, I really like these ones here. So warm, so vibrant. I like this one so much. And as I told you before, I'm not a big fan of pinks and purples. So these, I find them pretty, but I I'm not sure I would use them, but this is pretty. Okay, let's wash this and we will start working with our purple. So now I added some yellow in this purple, which created like a more muted color, which I like. I think it's interesting. We're gonna add an orange now, which I think is going to mute it down as well. Now we're gonna add some copper. Let's see if there's gonna be any color separation in this one. So technically these two are the same. I like to point them out when they're so different. They're the same mix, so it's very different. So far though, I think that they all kind of look alike. I think maybe this purple is very strong. Let's add the pink. So this created a very vibrant purple. But yeah, I think that this purple is very strong. So whenever you mix it with another color, that other color doesn't show through that much. But maybe this is gonna change now with the blues. At least I think we're gonna modify that purple. Still gonna be very purple though, for sure. Oh, I love this purple that I just created. So pretty. This is a purple I could use. I see it in my abstract paintings. I think it would be very pretty. Now let's see what the difference is with that other blue. It's always interesting to compare these two. I'm glad I added two different blues. It's a very interesting color. Yeah, I like it a lot too. I think I could also use it in my abstract paintings. It would be so pretty. Now let's see what we get when we add some green in it. Yeah, now we just created kind of a darker purple, which could be a nice substitute for black. Which it makes sense because we mixed a green, which is made out of a blue and a yellow, with a purple, which is made out of a blue and a red. So when we mix the primaries together, they create kind of a black, depending on what proportions you use them in. You can create a purple black, a blue black, a red black. So now let's add graphite in there. It doesn't seem to be doing much. Okay, I added more. And I think I like this color too. Yeah, I created some interesting mixes, I think, with these. For sure, this one is my favorite of all the graphite colors I created. I think I like this one too. We'll wait once they are dried so I can tell you for sure which one's my favorite, but it's between these two. We are going to add a little bit of yellow in our blue, which will create a green. I like it. It's not so much of a green yet. You can see that it's still blue. Well, you could wonder if that's blue or green. It's kind of in between the two. So I think it's super interesting. And you can see that it's not a very vibrant color. So I'm excited to see what's gonna happen with this one. Is it going to be more vibrant? I would think so, because that's what happened here. But we'll see. Now we're gonna add some orange, which also muddies this blue in a different way. So that's interesting. Now what's gonna happen when we add some copper in there? Will we have some beautiful color separation? I hope so. We'll see once it dries a little bit more. But so far I like the mixes that I've created. It's a nice way of using this blue. Now we're gonna add a touch of pink. We're gonna create a beautiful purple. Oh, I like it. It's very vibrant. Yeah, I think that these two columns will be super interesting because the blue will be the most present color. But since they're two different blues, we'll really be able to see the difference between the two. That's going to help me understand how to use them better. Quinacridone purple blue. Oh, I like this purple too. Let's add a bit more. I think that these two are very similar. I would say that the one with the quinacridone purple blue looks a bit warmer. But then again, we'll see when it dries. That other blue is very strong. I almost feel like this first blue disappeared, so I'm gonna add a bit more in the mix. Now we're gonna add some green. Oh, I like this color. Oh, that's so pretty. Oh my God. What a beautiful discovery. See that beautiful deep turquoise green that we created? It's so nice. Yeah, I'm really gonna discover some colors while doing this exercise. It's amazing. When they're all dry, I'm gonna tell you which ones are my favorite. And please do it too. I'm gonna do some close-ups at the end. Please share with me which ones are your favorites and which ones you really don't like. It would be interesting to know. And now we're gonna add some graphite in there. So far, it looks like an interesting color too. So I'm glad to know that I can use the graphite in my mixes to create other interesting colors more interesting than just the graphite. I'm happy to know it can be useful. Yeah, I like this color. Oh, this is an interesting color. Very different from the other blue. I like it. Yeah, I think it's very pretty. It seems like it's pretty opaque too. It's more vibrant than this one, which is what I guess would happen. Now we are going to mix some orange. But this blue is very strong. It's a pretty color. Yeah, I like it. It's so interesting to note how different these mixes are with the two blues. I'm gonna see them. Well, I knew that these were different blues, but now I really see them in a different light. And I look at them thinking at how useful they can be. Some copper. Oh my God, we don't see it at all. Let's put more. Yeah, that's better. So far, all of these colors are very pretty. Oh, now with a pink. That's gonna be interesting for sure. Okay, so it became a warmer blue. Interesting. I feel like I should add just a little bit more. Just a little bit. Now we're gonna add the quinacridone purple blue. Oh, I kind of put a lot of purple in this mix. I think maybe I forgot that I needed to have a bit more blue. It's not that bad, I think. Let me just add just a touch of blue. And that's gonna be good, I think. Yeah. Yeah, it's still very blue. Yeah, maybe I don't have enough purple. Let's add more purple. So it's gonna mix with the blue that we already put down on the paper, so it won't be too purple. Pretty, okay. Oh, now we are gonna mix the cobalt blue in there. All right, now the green. I feel like it's going to be just me repeating myself over and over again. Now the green, now the yellow, now the blah, blah, blah. Oh, this is a beautiful color. Nice. Okay, what a beautiful color, huh? Wow. So far, these two columns, they're so different from one another. I'm very happy about it. I really like this one. I see some beautiful granulation in there, some beautiful color separation. And in here, it's just such a different color. Beautiful. And now the wild card, the one we never know what's gonna happen, the graphite. As usual, I think I need to add more because wow, this color is intense. This blue. Again, I think I like this color. Yeah, it's pretty. Very interesting. Let's add some yellow in this green. Ooh, a beautiful color. Pretty. Now some orange. I think it's gonna be very pretty too. It's gonna be a bit more dull, which I like, as you know. It's gonna neutralize this color. Now a little bit of copper. This color is very special. I think that the copper separates from the other colors. We can see it more in this row. We can sometimes see a bit of color separation, not in every mix, but it's not something I see with the other colors that much, except for this one with like the tiny contour of graphite. Maybe it's a thing that happens with metallics. I'm not sure. Let's add some quinacridone rose. Beautiful mix. I like it. So this would be the same mix as this one, but in different proportions. Very pretty. I like these two colors. I think that these two colors are a very good mix. No matter in which proportions you use them, I think they create something pretty. And now quinacridone purple blue. This would be the same mix as this one. I really like this color. It's so pretty. Like a bluish dark green. It makes me think of a nerd green. Maybe? Tell me what you think. I can see some color separation in here with the copper. Now cobalt blue. And we create a beautiful blue green. And our other blue, the cerulean blue, we create an even more turquoise green. Very cute. These two are the same mix, but in different proportions. And graphite, last but not least, will we create a beautiful color? I think we might. Yeah, I think I like it. It's a nice dark green, or like a grayish green. It's very pretty. Yeah, weirdly, I think graphite is one of the colors that surprised me the most, because I really had lost all hope about this one. And in the end, I can create some interesting colors with it, which is good to know. I would have never guessed it, but I think that this column here is going to be super interesting. I'm not sure it's going to be beautiful because there's going to be more graphite in the mixes than the other colors. We will see. Are these beautiful because there's less graphite in them? They just tweak the color a little bit. And will these be like horrible? We will see. My guess is that yes, these are gonna be horrible because they're gonna look like graphite, but we'll see. All right, it is the time you've all been waiting for. The time where we will discover if graphite is truly horrible or if it can be used. So I added some yellow to this mix and it's not very pretty. What is this color? Well, it is still disgusting, I think. It still looks like graphite, but with a weird color in it. Let's add a bit of copper in there. The mix of the metallics. Well, it doesn't really do anything for me. Are you surprised? Maybe if we add some pink in there? Maybe? I don't know. It's a bit better. It has at least some interest. Maybe with the purple we'll have even more interest. We will see. But I like this one better than the other so far. Maybe this one. Here we go. Now let's add the cobalt blue. This one is also a bit more interesting than graphite alone. So far, I think I like this one. I like its texture. I think I could do something with this one. Probably this one too. Let's add that other blue that we have, Cerulean Blue Phthalo. And let's see what happens when we add the green. I hope it's gonna be an interesting color. Is it interesting? Maybe. Will I use it? Probably not. Well, I don't know. It depends on how it dries. I think I'm just not a fan of the shimmer in the paint, so let's see how it dries. If the shimmer goes away, I think this could be a pretty color, somewhat, but it really depends on how it dries. Good, so we're gonna let this page dry, and then we will meet back here. Before we move on to our other page, I just wanted to take another look at these. I think that for the most part, they're not so bad. However, I don't really like the sheen that we can see in these first ones, so I don't think I would do that mix. I don't think I would do this one either. I don't think I would do these. At first I thought I liked this one, but it dried paler than it looked like when it was wet. So once dried, I'm not so much of a fan of this one. Maybe if I added a bit more pink, just this one like that, I'm not very sure of it. This one is not dried yet, so it's hard to say for now, but the same thing might happen where I thought it was beautiful once wet and then once dried, it's paler and less interesting. I think that these three, especially these two, have potential. But yeah, I don't know.
taste I wasn't even close to mine. I know I shouldn't be in love, but it's so hard to move on. You haven't changed, you stayed the same. But if you did, I'd still love you anyway.